Good morning, everybody. This is the live morning witches chat. I am Fire Lotus. I do these anywhere from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. I go over everything except for politics, primarily spirituality, conspiracy theories, and everything to do with witchcraft. But before I start this, I will do what I always do. This right here, for anybody who is wondering, I opened all my lives up with this. And then I also close my lives with this, and I use this with all of my magic. This right here is Sage Vibrational Spray that was charged by the full moon. It is made by hand and created by a very good friend of mine who runs her own apothecary called Three Sleeping Eyes Apothecary. Honestly, I call her my, when I'm referring to her, an herbal alchemist, because the stuff that she does is amazing. This right here literally smells like you walked in a forest of just berries. Her anxiety tea is amazing. Her tinctures that she has are amazing. She has soap. She has ritual soap. She has dread shampoo. She has a bunch of other stuff that she's working on. She's got a bunch of teas. You should totally check her out. She's got a Facebook, an Instagram, and an Etsy, and she also has an exclusive Facebook group, so you can actually see stuff before it's released on her other sites. And again, that is Three Sleepy Eyes Apothecary. Again, I've been using these since October, and I've been using that since October, and it's great, especially if you're in an environment, or if you're one of those people that can't burn sage, or just doesn't like smoke. That right there is a great alternative, and what's mind-blowing with Three Sleeping Eyes Apothecary, she has a homemade Florida water that is naturally dyed blue. It looks insane. But yes, with that, I do have some things to go over that I always shout out in the beginning of my podcast, beginning of my episodes. That's one. A little update on that podcast. By the way, if you see me over here, like I look distracted, I'm either checking notes that I've been doing, or I'm sharing this to get my name out there. There was one podcast, or there was one of these lives that I did last week, and it was 2 hours and something, and I'm still having to figure out how to actually cut that in half and then upload that. But this one will be uploaded shortly after this as a podcast, depending on, good morning, depending on how long it actually goes. Apparently, the site that I actually use to upload my podcast to Spotify, you can only do like I think it's like 45 minutes long or 30 minutes long. So yeah, issues with that. But I do have a podcast. It's on Spotify. It's on Castbox. It's on the Apple Music Store. Fire Lotus the Witches, that one. Another one that I always shout out. It's called Astro Matrix. It is a 100% free app. You can find it in both stores. But the reason that it is so amazing is because if you've ever wanted a personalized horoscope, specifically for you, that is different every single day, it also gives you hourly updates of the moons and where the planets go, and the only thing you will need, if you download the app, is the exact time you were born, and the place you were born at. Now, with the time, you don't actually have to know your time, but it is better off if you do, because it's more honed into you. But what that does is it pulls a snapshot of your and or birth chart and or natal chart. But basically, it is a screenshot of the universe at the exact moment you were born. And with that, it breaks your personality down. It predicts major life events. I recently just realized with mine, apparently, financially, the struggle and stuff like that, apparently that actually has stuff to do with my charts. Did not know that. With that, I also have some stuff I learned through this app about the eclipse that is coming up on the 12th. Let me check that date to make sure I did not just lie to you. No, I'm sorry, the 10th, next Friday. With that being stated, like I always state, if you hear a dog barking or if you hear a cat meowing, the dog is my neighbor's, there's nothing I can do about that, and the cat is perfectly fine, he's just an asshole. He is my familiar. There he goes. Right on cue. Right on cue. He does it every day. He is going through puberty right now. And let me tell you, I have never been bullied by any of the cats that I own. That cat, due to the simple fact we have not been buying him these little bitty things of wet food, and he's been eating dry food for the past week. He's really pissed off, and he holds grudges. So every time we walk by his dish and there's no wet food there, he'll pop us. Or he'll run through the house and pop us, and then grab us and bite us, yeah. But, for one, everybody who is seeing this, thank you so much for the people that were there to burn in the New Year's with me. That was an amazing session. That was an amazing live. The community candles went off with a success. They're extremely powerful from what I can gather. And if you were in that, or if you participated in that, I do believe that 2020 is going to be a golden year for all of us. Now with that, there are... Okay. Went over everything. No. Making sure, let me share this a little bit. Now, for the people that don't know, which you should know, this is a very, very amazing experience. I did just find out some information about what I'm about to explain that I did not know that is actually linked to the Salem witch trials. But we just entered a leap year, and for the people that do not know what that is, basically in the month of February, we have an extra day. So instead of having 365 days, we actually have 366 days. And for the people that don't know this, and I recently learned this last year, actually. That sounds so weird to say, considering last year was 2 days away. Or 2 days ago, a day ago. But the reason we have a leap year, actually, is due to the fact that in that leap year, because it is a 4-year process, it helps our lunar calendar match up and link up with our solar calendar. So that's actually the real reason that we have the leap year. That's also why it only happens a certain amount of years. But with that, with this month, it would have been great if you could have done it like on New Year's, but the community candles, but if you didn't, that's okay, because you technically still have, I would honestly say, because it gives about a week's time, I would say you have up into the full moon. Now, of course, it depends on the magic, and it depends on your craft, but I would personally say you have up into the full moon to kind of work out a 4-year spell. And what I mean by that is we're in the leap year. Why not use this leap year to leap us further, if that makes any sense? Because remember, at the very end of this 4-year process, the lunar and solar calendar will be balanced and linked up. So you could theoretically spend 4 years on dedication, like make this a 4-year dedication. Think of it as a New Year's resolution, but 4. And for example, for me personally, this year is going to be about healing from my past, healing, expanding my knowledge as much as I can, conquering fears and getting over fears and stuff that holds me back. And then I plan on dedicating the next year to a specific like goal or subject in the craft, and then the next year, and then the next year. And with this, and with using actually the Astro Matrix app, I've been able to actually, for the very first time, really and truly in my craft, I've been using not just the stars and the moons, but I've been using all of these major events that we've been having. We've had, in the past 2 years, I would say, not counting this year, 3 years. We had 1 year where we had a shit ton of supermoons. We had a year where we had eclipses left and right. So I've actually been harnessing those specific major events, because some of those events in this past decade, the last decade that we just moved out of, some of those were once in a generation or once in a lifetime moments. So think about that when it comes to all of these eclipses or anything that's rare. and abnormal for nature itself, even if you don't do an actual spell, try to collect or charge your crystals or water, or try to collect something from those events, because again, those are once in a lifetime. Good morning. Those are once in a lifetime events. So, I mean, think about that. Think about the decade water that I've been talking about. Once you create that bottle, and you still can create that decade water. But once you create that, imagine how powerful that is going to be 30 years from now. That is going to be a once in a lifetime. That is going to be like in all the books and fantasy stuff that we see out there about, folklore, witches, magic, and stuff like that. That's like one of those you had to climb to Mount Everest to get it. That's like you had to risk your life to get that, due to the simple fact of how rare it is. This decade water and stuff like this, it's just like that. It just takes years. It's like a bottle of wine or whiskey. The longer you keep it, the more valuable it becomes. It's just like what I'm talking about with the decade water, and honestly, any other thing. If you have a natural disaster that was sparked by nature, if you can, collect that. If, for example, California and the wildfires, that soil is extremely charged with the element of fire. So, cleansing. Think about that would do to a cleansing if you use that to cleanse yourself. That's because the reason I'm saying it's like collecting lava from a volcano, or collecting fresh volcano rocks from a volcano, due to the simple fact that by nature it is naturally charged with its own element. That in itself is extremely powerful. And I learned, now I will state that if you do start venturing into this and collecting this stuff and using it, I state from personal experience, be very careful, because the hurricane water, I had a moment where I used it, and 2 days or a day later, not even a day later, we had some very strange weather here. It worked, though. It was very cleansing. But again, you are harnessing. It's literally like having lightning in a bottle. And I wish I had the bottle that I have. The holidays. Well, this is one of them. This right here, true enough it is, again, none of my waters are for consumption. But this right here was one of the first eclipses that I experienced to where it went over our lake. And I collected it. Very fucking powerful right there. Again, if you live near a body of water, this is something I'm slowly incorporating. If you do live near a body of water, or, get this, if you have a pool. If you have a pool, an in-ground pool, if you have a doggy pool, if you have one of those plastic pools, fill that bitch up with water during the 3 nights of the full moon, or new moon. A lot of people forget, and a lot of people don't realize, is it's not just the full moon water that you can charge water with. You can charge new moon water for shadow work, for new beginnings. You can use that in your spells. Basically, for every moment of the moon, for every phase of the moon, and for all the correspondences of that, because I personally have realized that it is different from some people. I know some people, or some practitioners, that favor job spells and fresh start spells on the full moon, per se, the new moon, and then vice versa. I'm realizing that there's so much that a lot of the other paths and... Hold on, let me share this group. I completely forgot what I was doing there. But with the paths and stuff like that, it's a new term that I recently discovered, or research and stuff, and it's called gatekeeping. A lot of the authors back in the late 80s, early 90s in paganism and the craft, true enough, they were heavily influenced by Wicca, but they kind of did a gatekeeping in themselves, in the simple fact they drilled it into so many people and so many generations' heads when it comes to practicing magic, that it has to go by these rules. It has to do it. You have to do it by this, and if not, it doesn't work. And we're realizing, this generation, this new movement, we're realizing, wait, no, that's no. You're doing what men did to Christianity, which is basically you're taking a very, very sacred word and you're twisting it and manipulating it to get the outcome you desire. true enough that in the definition of what I just said, that theoretically is the definition of magic, but when it comes to spirituality, that is the difference of religion and spirituality. Religion is you have to have somebody. You have to have somebody tell you, you have to have that structure, and that's fine. A lot of people work with that. That's fine. Spirituality, though, is not needing that. Spirituality is wanting to know why. Wanting to explore every different belief, everything there is out there. And I've realized spirituality has completely changed my life. It has completely changed my perspective on everything, on how I handle conversations, on how I handle drama, on how I handle or how I go about certain situations. It's made me stop and actually be like, wait, let me take myself out of the equation, because I keep looking at this of like, this is everything like this. Let me take myself out of it and put myself in that person's shoes to see if this is... I'm so glad you brought this out, because when I was being controlled under someone... Ooh, hold on. Facebook. There we go. I'm so glad you brought this out, because when I was being controlled under someone had me empty all my moon water out between the moons and told me that if I kept it, it would bring negative energy effects in my spells. I didn't know, because I'm just learning to use tools. Being controlled under this. I'm rereading that. I mean, I don't think... Why did they want you to pour out the rainwater besides they thought they would bring you negativity? I'm trying to process that, but, okay, I'm back. But, I don't know, that's weird. Because, like, I don't know why that would be negative. Kept it would bring negative energy. But, I mean, theoretically, with that, if anything major or negative were to happen, or any natural disaster or anything like that, okay, that's what okay, I think I understand what you're saying. When it comes to that, like, collecting rainwater after a hurricane, some people would say that that's kind of a negative thing because it kind of hurts so many people. But it's about the intention. So as you're gathering that water or collecting that moon water or storm water, it depends on your practice and I guess your ethics and your moral compass. Now, like I said, with me, I do either or. So when I collected that rainwater, I kind of collected it in a neutral thing. When I collect elemental water, or when I collect water from like solar eclipses and stuff like that, I don't necessarily set my intention to, okay, this water is for healing, as much as I normally try to just focus on the event itself and the energy behind that. So it's like collecting it but neutral, to where it hasn't been programmed. It doesn't have a purpose yet. And the reason I do that is that way I can, because like I said, I do either or, it just depends. I primarily try to help and heal, preferably than the other stuff, but, you know, life. But it's like my candles. I very, very rarely do I actually start to program stuff. Even the crystals that I have, there are only a few that I actually have to where they're programmed specifically to do one specific thing. For example, the smoky quartz, that's one of the ones that I've specifically programmed to do this. But, all my other elements, everything else, unless it was specifically gathered or collected to specifically use for, say, love spell or prosperity magic or something like that, I just try to focus or set the intention of just it being in itself the magical object due to the surroundings of it. And now with that, I don't think I've actually brought it up on these lives. I think it was more of a YouTube video that I did. But I've talked about, like, the Christmas cards you get, or the birthday candles that you get, or anniversary candles, or any celebration, a wedding, any celebration type event that you go to, you can collect stuff from that and use that in your craft, because it's naturally charged with that celebration, happiness, family gathering, community. It's already charged with that energy. For example, my father-in-law, when he got married, we were in their wedding, and I've collected flowers, and then after the wedding, I got to keep a lot of the flowers that were in the wedding. So I have a small little bag that has a lot of those flowers that a wedding is one of the most happiest moments. So they're collected with that. I have some rose petals that were in a 27-year relationship before it was given to the person who would give it to me. And that right there, it's charged. That's charged with that romance, with that energy, with that relationship. So, and honestly, perfectly, birthday candles, they're some of the fastest, easiest candles to do because they don't really burn that long. So if you want a quicker spell or a quicker result, then birthday candles, and not to mention they're $1. A lot of people, like, I guess it's the movement of social media, they think they have to have, like, all of this expensive stuff. No. Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Family Dollar, those stores can be your friends. Especially Dollar Tree. Go to Dollar Tree during October and Christmas. Some of the stuff that they have there, for the price, you can get the old school Apothecary bottles, or the old school bottles that you would put, like, olive oil in, that are already colored. You can get them for $1. You can use that. The sand that they have there, you can use that. If you go to a beach, if you go to a place that you've never been to and it's outside, for a vacation, collect that. Collect water from different places of the world, different places of the United States. Have a collection of state water. The reason I'm saying that is because over time, as you get older, that's what I've done. In my craft, from the very point that I started this path, I would start collecting random stuff, and it made no sense at that point in time. And I actually discovered this during the community candle. That was one of the first times I realized that here very soon I'm going to be redoing my craft room and kind of cleansing it and cleaning it out and everything. And after that, I'm going to give certain tours on some of the things that I have. I'm not going to do a full tour because, again, I only let people see what I want them to see on the content that I share. And that's just, that's just me. But, I have what is a dead garden, and it's basically insects or bones or random stuff that I've came upon that are perfectly preserved. And for one, I've just always kind of thought that was cool, and it really is cool because I'll put crystals and flowers in there. But I realized that you can use insects. Like, I have a collection of dragonfly wings, insect wings that I found, or I have found, or I've come across, and I've collected them. You can use that in your craft. If you have a cat, look for whiskers, look for teeth that fall out. You can use all of that in the craft. And what I've learned to do is just collect it, and collect it, and collect it. And as you advance, and as your knowledge advances, and as you get more confidence in yourself and in your craft, you'll realize that a lot of the things that you've collected over the years, they actually did have purpose. You just didn't know it. My community candle, a lot of that stuff that you saw on there had been gathered and collected over years and years of me practicing. And that was the first time that I've done stuff like that before, but that is to the extent that it is, and the just pure size that it is. That's the biggest one that I've ever done, and the most powerful one. But I realized when I looked down, I was like, wait, now I understand why I have this weird kind of like fetish of collecting random things. Like, I have a random stick collection. I go to my mother-in-law's house, and she has, there's no way I can actually like pick this up and show you all, but she has stone river rocks around her house. I literally probably have about 100 of them right now. But it's so cool because I found one, let me see. Actually, this one's a perfect example. I didn't find it there, but I picked this up one day thinking that it was just this really, really cool, like, rock because it was, like, perfectly round. No, come to find out, that's actually a fossilized seashell. But, and I actually have a river rock that, I should have brought it back here. I have a river rock that looks like a little goddess. I'm sorry for the cat. If I let him in, there's a very good chance that he's going to knock stuff over and be a little cat. So sorry about that. But you can collect stuff like this. Like, I have a feather collection. And what that is they're either A, feathers that I've found, or my partner, him being with me for so long, I have these very little strange oddities about myself. Like, boxes. I love boxes. I love everything about boxes. Big, small, tiny. It doesn't matter. I will find a purpose for it. But with that purpose, let me see. Is that near me? Ah, it's not. Hold on. I'll have the perfect example. Oi. Okay. I have something that I can show you. Okay. Sorry about that. A lot of my stuff is not where it's at due to all the festivities that were happening during New Year's. But this right here, this was given to me by one of my old roommates. But this right here, I have my rare coins. Actually, only one's in here because the other ones were in the magic. But, I have rare coins that I've came across, or, for one, buffalo head, nickel, and then other world currency, and then this was, I think, out of a, it's like a piece of pirate treasure, but it was out of a board game that I got when I was like 13. And then I have this one, special shout out if she is watching this. If not, you should totally check her out, and I'm going to look her up before I shout her out. Because I want to make sure, because she does readings, and she is very gifted, and she's also in the process of making oils. I already have one, and it was actually, I use it in my craft. It is a luck oil that she made. Wow. Very, very powerful, very powerful. But I want to make sure I get her screen name right, because she has changed it. There we go. Actually, I have something better than that. Bam! To everybody, I have, she was actually one of my, not going to say full-on students, but, I just posted a link to her Instagram. But she went to California, and she got me this from one of the shops when I was working with her. I carry this with me everywhere I go. But she does readings. She's in the process of making oils. She's amazing, but she was one of the first people that I kind of guided, when they discovered the craft. And just in general, she's an amazing soul. So if you see her, shout out to her. And if you see her, you should totally check her profile out on Instagram. Celine Soil Witchcraft. I've probably just butchered that name, but Celine, again, posted a link. But she offers readings. And I'm telling y'all, she is extremely gifted. She shocked me of how fast she picked up, especially the tarot cards. Amazing at that. And there will be, I need to make a note of this. Tomorrow? Yes, tomorrow's Friday. Okay. Tomorrow, if I can do this in time, I'm going to get anybody who sees this. If you have a small business, Judy, I know I already have yours, so yours is going to be one of them. But if you have a small business here on Facebook or Instagram or anything, send me a link, DM me, because in tomorrow's episode, I'm going to shout them out. And with shouting them out, I'm also going to, when I transfer this over to YouTube Saturday, I'm going to post all of the businesses, at least one of every link of the businesses pages that I shout out. I'm going to post the link on my YouTube. And that's just because I love small businesses. And that's part of these videos. It's to help people that are running small businesses. And what I mean by that, if you have a Facebook page, an Etsy, an Instagram, and you sell any type of service, spiritual, non-spiritual, stuff like that, DM me, let's talk, and I will shout you out and make sure I post the link and everything to where everybody can find it. At some point this month, I am hoping to bring in interviews. The holidays had messed me up because there was stuff going on, and then everybody else had stuff going on, so I have to get with everybody and set up a date. And then I also have to, which is going to be very fun, I actually have to test the Facebook, the whole bringing somebody in on the chat. I have to test that and to make sure it will work properly. If not, I'm going to, there are a few other things that I'm going to try to do. If I have to call them on a phone and it's just going to be me being live and talking to them on the phone, that will be one. There are one or two people that I'm hoping that I will actually be able to hang out with. Goal of mine is to get over this agoraphobia that I'm going through, or that's happening with me, or however you want to phrase it. To get over that and to actually sit down with them one-on-one and go live with them. There will be one through Sleepy Eyes Apothecary. I will be talking and interviewing her, hopefully. She just started a whole new journey, so time frames and everything are going to be a little wonky, so it may just be that either A, I do it over the phone, I meet them in person, or I may just completely do a YouTube video and then do a watch party on here. I am still slightly limited right now until I get a better web camera with setting up and actually scheduling these lives far out. I thought I could do it from my phone, but that's only a web or tablet thing. That will be in the process. There's so many things that are working in the backgrounds that are slowly being manifested, because I've been technically working on all of what is unfolding. All of us lotus sprouts and lotuses and sprouts. I've worked on this. I just didn't know it was going to turn into this, but I started manifesting this back in 2018, during that super blood moon lunar eclipse that was visible here in the United States. I just didn't exactly know it was going to unfold to this. This was a theory of mine, and this was something that I talked about when I went to Alabama, or when I lived in Alabama. I was trying to do these on Instagram, but nothing was working with me properly. And that comes to another good point, is when it comes to spirituality, life, and magic in general, some things will just not work. And normally what I've realized is if you keep doing something over and over again, it's not necessarily meant that it's not going to work or it's not meant to be. It just may not be the right time. And when that time comes, just know everything is going to sync up and you're going to skyrocket forward. It is literally like the whole arrow and the tattoos of the reason people have arrows tattooed on them. The reason that is, or one of the meanings behind that, is because it's supposed to symbolize an arrow can only go forward. It can't go backwards, and that's what it's supposed to remind you of. I have tattoos. I have one tattoo that I got that is a constant reminder. It's an anchor, and it's from Finding Nemo. Just keep swimming. Dory's little saying. I got that tattooed on me when I was in a really dark spot. Shortly after that, actually, I met my partner, and then a whole new chapter began. But it is a constant reminder for me to just keep swimming. When I worked at the old store, shout out to them, by the way, if you live in Alabama, or if you're anywhere close to Enterprise, Alabama, Lou Nation, check them out. They have a Facebook. You should actually check their Facebook page out, too, because I think they have a website now. Totally check them out. It's a hippie head shop, hippie herbal store. There we go. It's kind of eclectic. They have a little bit of everything. But I used to work there. Amazing company, amazing store. The herbs there, the herb quality there, amazing. That's actually where I got the majority of all the herbs that I still have now. But that used to be my saying, because I was the head capper, or I was a capper, aka I capped Kratom. But on my days that I was like, it's just a bad day, like that was how I let my staff know. Everybody that I worked with, I was just like, just keep swimming, or it was one of those days. But that saying has kept me afloat and during so much shit. But I've also realized, and that comes to, during the community candles that we did, we actually came up with a name for the people that follow me, and believe in what I say, which is Lotus Sprouts. And there are two names. There are the Sprouts, which are people that are just freshly new to all of this. They are new to their spiritual or witchcraft path. I don't like saying newbies. I don't like saying babies. So I like saying sprouts because eventually those sprouts will grow into flowers and then so and so. And then fire lotus, it's our lotuses. They start at the very, very bottom of the pond, the lake, and in the mucky mud and all that bad, yeah, right? But over time, they slowly go up and up and up, and then they blossom. And for some reason, that resonated so much with me. I've always been drawn to the lotus, and I was like, you know what? That's perfect. So, lotus sprouts. Um, but yes, with that, I also forgot to say I will be going over the seventh card in the Spirit of the Will meditation deck that I've been breaking down. I will be going over the seventh card, and I think it's going to be a good one. But yes, when it comes to the leap year and everything that's going on, or the Astro Matrix app, it gave me. I actually read the full page on the eclipse that's coming up, and I'm just going to go ahead and let everybody know it's in Cancer. I could be wrong. I don't think I am wrong, and I believe the reason I believe that it is in Cancer is because it's supposed to be a very, very strong eclipse, but this is kind of going to be slightly weird, and I didn't even know this was a thing. But the eclipse that is going to happen next Friday, there was another eclipse, I think last year or in 2008, it's the exact opposite of it. So with this eclipse, it's going to be a cycle. And what I mean by that is the last eclipse, the other eclipse that I'm talking about, if you didn't really get affected by it, you may get affected by this one. But like I've also realized all the stuff that happens during the retrogrades or the eclipse, because depending on who you ask, some people say that the eclipse are going to be they're like this warning sign of negativity. Other people say that they're not. But you also have to think about where that came from. Do you think about back to the 1600s or way, way, way even before that? We're talking AD, BC, and what the hell would you think if all of a sudden the sky went either dark or blood red in the middle of the day? You're going to think, oh shit, all hell's breaking loose. But these are, on top of that, I forgot to mention this. On top of that, we're also having a planetary alignment this year. Another one. What? So, yeah, this year is going to be a magical, magical year on top of it being a leap year. Either that or who knows? The world could be ending this year. I know something big. I do believe, and this may make me sound crazy, but this is a little prediction. Something big is in the works. I don't know if that's good or if that's bad, but something majorly on a worldwide scale is building up. And the only reason I'm saying that is because since like 2016, we've been having more and more eclipses and lunar cycles and planetary alignments and all the shit that's going on in the world. Australia's on fire. Half the United States just got froze. We're not getting on the political side of that. There's so much shit that is happening, and I do believe that it's building to something. What that is, I don't know. I hope I know. Eventually, I hope I will figure it out. But there is something major happening. And that's not even, like, metaphysically. You can just look at the world and then look at, events. I mean, come on, it's December, or now it's January, but this past week in December here in Florida, it almost hit 80 degrees. That's not normal. I'm sorry, folks, but that's not normal. I understand Florida is a warmer climate, but no, that's not normal. And I don't know what's going to happen, but so much stuff has, so much enlightenment, honestly, too, has come to the surface in this year. Oh, I'm so sorry. I did not see any of these. My cat is meowing, too. I say that all the time. Yes, I'm so sorry. I forgot I should have scrolled up. I didn't see any of those comments. I'm sorry. But For example, UFOs. How many times in U.S. history, and actually, well, I don't know about world history, but here in the United States, like, the government was like, there's no UFOs. Area 51 is not real, even though we have pictures. It's not real. You don't know what you're talking about. And now, all of a sudden, and then not to mention, like, did we see what happened with the Pope the other day? Which, I mean, we're human. We're imperfectly perfect humans. My boyfriend is not like half the people I listen to or talk to, but we watch your videos in the AM. He likes you because you're down to earth and have a common sense. Oh, thank you so much. That is the point of these. I try to be as real as possible with people, and if I'm wrong, come at me. Like, come tell me. But at the end of the day, I'm down to earth. Like, yes. But thank you so much. I also wanted to personally shout this out to everybody that has been interacting with my page, that has been leaving recommendations. Thank you so much. There have been so many moments in the past just week to 2 weeks where literally I've gotten a notification, I've opened it, and it stopped me in my tracks, and I almost started crying just due to y'all are amazing. Like, I would not have this without y'all. Yes, exactly. I'm just trying to be real. I'm trying to have a conversation and share what I believe and see if that's real. But at the same time, like I said, that's why I stay away from politics, because that always ends in arguments. There are some times that I tie conspiracies in with those, because a lot of these conspiracies, if y'all don't know, are the people that's like, what, you keep talking about conspiracies and spirituality and what? It's sacred, it's science, spirit science, the YouTube channel. For one, they go over some of it, but there are a lot of things throughout history that people have hidden from us, that, look into it, like, there are a lot of actual shit to do with metaphysical and magic that was actually mainstream at a lot of points, and this is actually before the church. They were mainstream before, like, instrument-wise. All the instruments at a certain point in human history were harmonically tuned to a certain frequency. That frequency actually aligns your body. Like, it actually has a mental effect on you. And it also, I believe, if I'm remembering it correctly, it matches up with the golden ratio, the pattern that repeats throughout nature, in the universe. Well, all of the instruments used to be harmonized to that until, I think it may have been a part of the church or something like that, realized it, or it could have been a leader. Some person high up realized it and changed it. And due to that fact that it was changed and slightly forgotten about, all other instruments ever created, unless specifically created like that, will never be like that. And that's what I mean by I've said in videos that when you talk about conspiracies, there are conspiracies because there is a lot of history that has been covered up and oppressed or just forgotten about due to the simple fact they're shutting our enlightenment off. That's one of the running theories that I have with all of these ancient civilizations that have literally just poof, right off the face of the earth. There's no evidence of what happened to them. So far, we have not found any evidence of what happened to them. I believe that they actually did reach that full enlightenment without actually having to, like, die or anything. But I believe that they reached that full enlightenment and they, I don't want to say ascended, but that's kind of where I believe that in multiple dimensions, and it goes farther on out there, but I believe that they realized and they slightly, their vibrations, they raised their vibrations high enough to where they just phased into another, like, alternate site, I guess. It could be the next chapter after we die here. I don't know. I have so many theories about that. Like, I believe in reincarnation and past lives, but at the same time, I also believe in different dimensions and different lifetimes, and at the same time, those all could be tied in. Excuse me. But when we die, for all we know, we could actually, those different lives, the past lives that we have, they could have actually been either A, in a different dimension, or B, this, when I first heard this, it kind of blew my mind and I never thought about it. Some of your past lives could actually be back in time. Because time is continuous. Or the concept of time that we have, because time is a theoretical concept that humans came up with for measurement, basically, to keep records. That's all it is. Time and the concept of time doesn't exist. To cats and dogs and animals, they have no concept of time, because time theoretically doesn't exist. Mind blown there. But I forgot who it was, but they actually stated that, I think it's actually spirit science. There we go. So do I believe in different dimensions and running currently with our lives. Yes, exactly. And with that, basically, one of your past lives, when you die, you could actually go back in time. And that kind of sets up the whole thing where the past, the future, and the present, they're always constantly going. It's never stopped. Yes, A Wrinkle in Time. And it's insane to think like that, because, I mean, it makes logic sense of, that explains why you can have so many lives. That explains, for one, we're energy in general. Scientifically, we are energy. We are energy enclosed in a vessel that is not, well, basically it's eco-friendly because it biodegrades. I cannot believe I just said that, but it's true. And once that, like, with that, we are energy. What I mean, we are energy. We are literally part of the stars. We are part of the universe. We are part of everything. And at the same time, we're nothing. I mean, we're the most advanced species on this earth, but we don't know that. There's another theory that actually humanity is just in this endless cycle. And this is actually a very scary one. It's actually a theory. But humanity repeats the same cycles over and over again. And what that means is basically every culture throughout history, their civilization has always reached that peaking point. In other words, that point to where you can't really go any farther. And then normally after that, it just falls apart. And if that is true, then we are very close to that. Very close to that. Exactly. And energy doesn't die. Energy cannot die. It just transforms. It continuously goes. It may change shape, but it continuously goes. And since I've been doing these videos and I took a deep dive into spirituality more, with the whole frequencies and the ringing of the ear and like syncing up, or the phrase downloading something. Before, like, I was kind of like, I mean, I liked the idea, but like, and then now I was like, holy shit, since I've been doing these videos, my ears are constantly ringing. And normally when they start to ring, or especially if they ring and I'm talking like this in one of these videos, or if I get chills, then I know that I'm speaking the truth. Not the ultimate truth, but the truth that I'm supposed to speak and they're supposed to hear. Because before I do any of these lives, I'm starting to. So far I have one person up under me, but I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to about doing the tutoring process. After this live, DM me and we can talk, because I have so much shit that I'm trying to do, so I'm still trying to find time to make sure that I can, and kind of how I mentor, or how I'm going to approach mentoring. But yes, you can totally DM me. But, oh, my brain just went blank. Conspiracies. But since I've been doing these videos, I've realized, oh, that's what I was saying. I've had too much coffee today. But, before I do any of these lives, I ask my guides and my mentors and spirit and the universe, and my ancestors, and the gods and goddesses and lords and ladies, to just help me get what needs to be spoken out. For everybody that stumbles across this, or finds this, or tunes in, everything that you hear that resonates with you, that is because the universe basically is divine timing, I guess. Sweet, thank you. So that was a way that, or it's my way of making sure that the people, because I don't want everybody to see this. That's fine. But I know that the people that do see these videos and do watch these or listen to these podcasts, it resonates with them, and that's all I want. The point of these videos is it's not to convert you, it's not to change your mind, it's to change your perspective, but it's not to get you to believe in what I believe in, but it's to get you to be like, wait, maybe. Or to at least learn at least one thing from all of these videos, all of these lives. And if I can go to sleep at night knowing at least one person learned something new from these videos, then I can go to sleep happy. That's because that's me helping out. That's me giving back to the community. With me shouting out all of the people in the small businesses, that's me giving back to the community. When I get the books that I'm currently waiting to be shipped out, and I should have them by the 8th, as I'm reading them, I'm going to be sharing that knowledge from those books, and basically it's going to be like a book review. It's just like the reason I break these Oracle and Tarot cards down that I have, and I do have plans on getting way more of them. I like breaking them down because, for one, I get to relearn them and learn more stuff about them that I just didn't realize before. But it also helps everybody else. You get kind of a preview of a book or a deck to actually say, all right, well, is it worth investing money in? Because there were 2 books that I've been wanting for since they started advertising that they were about to be released. And it wasn't until, and now I still will get the books and actually read them, but it wasn't until the book was released and I started reading the actual reviews that I realized it's not the type of book that I actually thought it was, which is, there were 2 books that have recently come out about Southern folklore and magic and stuff like that I've been wanting. Only did I realize that it's not what I thought it was. There are more references, so from what I've read from the actual reviews, there are more references or like kind of encyclopedias instead of an actual full course breakdown of how to practice this. And it's very weird. That's also another way I know for a fact I'm getting older, because normally, which is a good thing, because unlike most people, I'm excited about getting older. I turned 27 in April of this year, and I'm so excited. I cannot wait till I hit 30. I know that sounds very weird, but I can't. I cannot wait till I get to that point, those like different stages in your life. And like, I'm done with my teenage years. Nope, go away. I want to get older. I want to get, your videos has helped us to understand and ask questions, so it get us go deeper into the research. Yes, exactly. And that is what I love that people are taking from this, is to actually question stuff. Like, even if, the one thing I always stay true to is there's never such thing as a stupid or dumb question. Maybe an answer, but not a question. Because people who question stuff, that shows intelligence. That shows that they're not just sheep that just go on what you're told. Do research, explain, especially now that there's so much fake shit out there. It drives me crazy. My mother-in-law gave me a little book on her witchcraft and Wicca, folklore, etc. It looked like a 3D, 30 books. I love reading them. LOL. You are an old soul. Thank you. And yes, see, I originally started out Wicca. And then realized a year and a half into it that it wasn't really for me. And that's fine. That's completely fine. Actually, believe it or not, one of the reasons Wicca wasn't for me was because, and I didn't understand this, and it's not always true, so there are a couple of things that I have to tweak when I say this, but it was the structure that it had. I needed when I first joined the craft, or first found the calling. But I also realized that a lot of their beliefs and stuff like that just didn't resonate with me. And you do not have to be a witch to be Wiccan, and you do not have to be Wiccan to be a witch. I also just realized that yesterday, that with Norse mythology, or if you follow the Norse past, theoretically, because Norse is a religion too, and it's not just a spiritual path or a witchcraft path, theoretically you can be Norse and not be a practitioner. And for some reason I'd never put 2 and 2 together like that. It's very weird. And then another thing that I'm different from is I don't worship the gods and goddesses. I used to, but now I commune with them. I primarily work with my ancestors, but I also work with everybody. And that's why when somebody comes to me and they're like, "Oh, well, you can't mix pantheons and stuff like that," I beg to differ. In my experience, I can. I've communed with Hecate before, multiple times. Um, I have a very close bond with Freya just due to the simple fact I love cats. I'm that crazy cat person. And one of the old properties, the haunted ass property that I used to live on, me and my partner used to live on, um, a high, my old roommate actually, when he was helping us move, he went out there and he actually, it completely threw me off too, because it was very random when he said it. He goes, "Freya's been here," and I'm like, "Huh?" And he goes, "The goddess Freya. She likes your cats." And so yeah, so normally if like one of our cats, because we have 6 cats total, one inside and the rest are outside, and one of them Stripes, this big ball of fur, black fur, he wanders off sometimes. So like if it's been like a week or a few days and I haven't seen him, I'll call upon Freya or ask Freya, can she make sure he's safe. And normally right after that, I shit you not, right after that, within 12 hours to sometimes it's been instantly, he winds up walking back up and is like, "Hey, what's up? I'm okay." And I realized that. And the most important thing was I went to there was a universal church that held these classes in Gainesville. I'm not going to mention the name or anything. And it was really cool too because they were like workshops about witchcraft. They were just open. But when I mean like workshops, more lines of like college course classes. Like, and I went to one of them, and in that conversation, they talked about and they asked the question that before this I had never asked, which was, do you think the gods and goddesses change and evolve with time? And what I mean by that, or what the question is, are they still like the old school, like, before we have electricity and all the other stuff that we have, or have they actually evolved and changed with the times? And I personally believe that, of course, they're divine energy. The only way to truly be able to keep up and to be able to keep that going is if what? You evolve. That also shows intelligence is evolving. I'm following the paganism, but I've been reading since my teens. I'm 41 now. I have books in Norse and Welsh fairy magic. And the one thing I'm looking into which deity is I should worship. I'm the crazy cat lady. Maybe I should see if Freya resonates with me. I'm pretty sure she will. From what I've gathered, she loves people that loves cats. And my cats are literally my babies. They are my children. And some of them actually, like Magic, for example, she showed up after I had a very heated conversation with the universe, aka me in the middle of my yard in the middle of the night, screaming up at the sky for shit that was going on in my life. And all I asked for was clarity of like, why? What the hell is the end goal of all the things that's happening? That was also back in 2018 when like we had like I think 8 planets. No, yeah, I think at one point in time, I think they were all retrograde. And let me tell you, every single planet that went retrograde, there were at least 2 aspects of that planet that affected my life head on. But right after that, 5 minutes after that, I walk inside, go to walk back outside, and there's this puffy little white and black fluffiness, sitting in front of my door, in my doorway, in the middle of my doorway on my porch, looking up at me, meowing. And she is an amazing cat. She does have some separation issues. But she's an amazing cat. And to me, that was the gods and goddesses and the universe's way of saying, well, we can't really do anything because this is just part of your life path. You have to do this. But we're going to throw you a cat to, kind of have a cuddle buddy when you're going through all this stuff. For reassurance. And she was amazing. Like, she helped me. That cat helped me so many ways. That cat, I called her Magic just because she kind of magically poofed out there. That, and she naturally has a smell of rosemary and roses mixed with a slight scent of sage. I don't understand it. She had it when she walked up on our property. I've never given that cat a bath because she is extremely fluffy. And she is an outside cat, and she still smells like it. It's very weird. But there were 2 moments where when I was living with my nanny, she was an outside cat, and I woke up and she was sleeping directly next to my face. And I don't know how. I did figure out how, but at that point in time I didn't, so I was like, damn, you really are a magic cat. She was smart and found a hole and crawled through. But yes, from what I've, and it's so weird because it's like I go back to, there's so much stuff that was, kept from us or hidden throughout history. And I mean, it still is. Like, they just found a, archaeologist site now, as in they just found, that could have been sometime last year, I believe, or back in 2008, but they actually recently discovered a church, a Christian church, that actually has some pagan statues in it. And the time frame, it's very, very weird that that is even a thing. So I'm extremely excited to see how that goes. And some of the shows that I watch, which I think I made the YouTube video, or the list of my YouTubers that I watch, but Spirit Science is a really, really good place to start. I will admit the content that the person is putting out now, I don't know how I feel about. But he has a large series that breaks down everything in spirituality in a way that I've never even seen it. But it is very, very enlightenful. And then I also watch Ancient Aliens. But there are a bunch of other movie or YouTube channels that I watch, or I listen to podcasts. And honestly, that's where I get a lot of my information at. I mean, I have books and I do my own research as well. Because normally what winds up happening is I'll hear something in one of the witchy podcasts that I listen to, and then I'm like, well, let me go research that. And then I'll research it. Either that or everything on all of my social media platforms, they're primarily spiritual or Wiccan based. So, like, I'm constantly learning new tidbits. TikTok, believe it or not, is a really good app to learn witchy tips. Because there are people that literally, I used to be one of them. I stopped making the videos, but they're called witchy tip videos. And they're literally just 15 to 60 second long videos of just small little witchy tips. But they're amazing. And there's a lot, there's a lot of that even me, I forget through everyday times that, you know, there are things called instant magic, or like crystals and stuff like that, or for example, wearing keys around your neck when you're taking a test. It unhelps the knowledge that you already have. If you're studying for anything, light a yellow candle and hold or, you know, fumble around in your hands tiger's eye. It will help retain the knowledge that you were taking in right then. But there are so many things that we can do, even if you are not a practitioner. There are so many things that you can do on a regular day basis to help bring stuff in your house. For example, the cinnamon brooms that you can find at Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Walmart. You can hang those up on your door, and that sweeps in positivity or prosperity. Seashells, you can put them in your windowsills of your house to protect it. There's a website, Ancient Orge. You can read about tons of cool stuff. Ah, thank you. I will definitely check that out. But what are other things that I learned? Scissors. You can put a pair of scissors above your door. Of course, make sure you fasten it to where, like, it can't fall down. But it's to cut negativity from walking in. Like, it cuts the negativity away from you. It prevents it from coming in your house. And there's so much other stuff. You can carry a bay leaf in your wallet, pocket, purse, or whatever, to attract money. Rosemary could also be used in it. There are so many other things that you can do on a regular day basis. If you are a sewer, if you sew stuff, or if you make clothes, or if you make stuff for people, sew a rune in it. If you hand sew anything, every single time you go in and every single time you go out, just state, I sew, you know, prosperity. I sew protection. You're literally weaving magic right there. And that's one of the reasons that one of my actual goals, and hopefully I can do this, when I was about 16 or 17, I actually started working on a specific pagan or witchcraft crafting book. And I still plan eventually on one day doing it, but it's going to have arts and crafts that the entire family can do, but you're doing magic as you're doing it. And we forget about that. When you take a shower, like I think I'm repeating myself, but when you take a shower, and visualize the soap or shampoo. By the way, 3C by Apothecary, she has banishing soap. But ritualistic soap or banishing soap, or just regular soap and shampoo, imagine that's basically relieving and basically scrubbing away all the dirt and grime that's on you through that day, all that negative energy you don't want, and as you're taking a shower, it's flowing down the drain. That's magic. Magic every day, and then having certain crystals will also help with that. For example, I carry this sucker with me everywhere I go. Her name is Celine. She is one term is alligator quartz, but she is a celestial, she is a citrine celestial, and then I also have a smoky quartz celestial, but they are very, very high vibrational stones. And if you do have a celestial like this, and I've actually realized this works with a lot of other crystals too, that I didn't know, I learned from another YouTuber, but apparently some crystals, they have to kind of be like activated, and apparently a way that you can activate them is to have them in your palm and then like rub a certain part of them, and it truly does, like, you will feel that stuff, it will activate. But the smoky quartz celestial, if you can get your hands on a piece of that, that is very, very good for removing ancestral or generational things. And the process of how that happens, I don't like have a written out ritual. I primarily believe that working with the stone and focusing on that, due to the simple fact that smoky quartz has it can be programmed to intercept your anxiety thoughts, and it kind of like banishes them or puts them away. I've always blessed my products before I deliver to my customers. That way it will bring them enjoyment to them carrying my products. Yes, exactly. And then another one that I'd never thought of, and this is actually hoodoo. It's from a hoodoo thing. It's a video that I found on YouTube, actually. It's basically, it was a money spell or a prosperity spell, to where if you don't have any ingredients, but it was something that was said in it that I never thought of. Try to enchant your money that you do have, like every single time you get a paycheck or something, for every amount that you spend, it comes back times 10, or it comes back times 3. So, like, think about that. Every single time you spend money, it's spelled to come back to you. Tenfold, or threefold, or fivefold, or sixfold, or however fold you want to say. It just depends on the person, really. And then when it comes to tools and stuff like that, flea markets and antiques. Now with the flea markets and the thrift stores, please, before you bring anything you get from a thrift store or a Christian mission, bless it. Please, bless and cleanse it before you actually bring it inside your house. Because you don't want an attachment. That is a very good way, and that's one way that people do get a haunted house, or they become haunted, is because they wind up getting an antique, or they buy a piece of furniture from a yard sale or something like that, and don't think, oh wait, maybe there's an attachment, maybe I need to cleanse this before bringing it into my home. So yeah, watch out with that. Now, when I get the books that I'm getting, and there are a bunch of other things and videos that I have in the works. I have the Witch's Jar live that I'm going to do. I'm still trying to figure out, process everything. And I'm also trying to get way more organized. Later on, today or tomorrow, I'm getting like 3 books. I'm going to get a planner. I'm going to get a regular notebook that I carry with me to keep notes, and then another book to where I can actually keep track of everything, and to make sure that, like, because I don't want to say I'm going to do something in a video and then due to everything else, because I'm doing all of this by myself. I'm on all platforms, most platforms, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and like 2 other ones. And I'm doing all of this by myself and the podcast. So, I'm trying not to get overwhelmed or overwhelm my own self. So I'm going to start keeping notes and getting way more organized. But I'm going to very soon be doing a live witch's jar, and I will post the ingredients up a month before we actually do it. That way everybody can do it. We're going to pick a date. And then due to the community candle and the amazing, amazing live that was, I will also be slowly incorporating healing lives or actual live spells to where I will post the ingredients, you can get it, and everybody will be doing that spell or that ingredient at the exact same time, simultaneously live. And New Year's, that live, wow, that energy, it was insane. In a very positive way, but it was insane. So yeah, that's going to be a great one. And the interviews, so like I have multiple different things that are in the works, and I'm so very, very excited. I'm also working on stuff in the background. I just perfected my first prosperity mix, and then I'm going to probably Friday I'm going to actually start turning that into an oil. I have to redo my prosperity and luck powder that I created. There's like 4 or 5 other things that I'm going to... Yeah, that's what I'm actually currently leading up to eventually, but I'm not going to get an assistant yet until I can actually get back to them in some way, shape, or form for donating all the time and stuff. And then not to mention, I don't have a car, I don't drive, I have agoraphobia, I barely leave my house. So, like, there are a lot of things that have to happen before. So, but yes, an assistant is something that I'm looking for later on in the year. That's what I told my partner, because my partner works Monday through Saturday. And he leaves around, like, 5, and he gets home nearly, I think he normally gets home around, like, 7 or 8. So his time is basically spent. So, yeah, but... Like I said, if I ever get to a point to where, like, I do get overwhelmed, I will legit say that, and, like, I will take a step back for a second. And then I've also been I'm very cautious with how I'm doing everything, because, like I stated, I want to make sure that the foundation to this is strong. Let me read the comments. Mother-in-law, give me your... OMG, thank you. That would be awesome. Thank you. And I sometimes do get overwhelmed, but so far I've been balancing everything. But once I get a better webcam, I will be able to do more stuff, just due to the simple fact that, no. But, yeah, there are major things that are in the works with all of this. And I'm so very excited. I also wanted to, again, thank all of you so very much. I also, to anyone who is interested, and if you are, please send me a DM. That way I don't have to go back through all the... Or I can write your name down one. But I do have a specific exclusive group here on Facebook called Dwellers of the Hollow that is private. And I have been... for one, it's basically for everybody to actually get to know each other and actually create that community. But I also have been sharing, like, behind-the-scenes stuff that I don't share on here. Now, my Instagram, I do share a lot of that on there, but I'm currently in a shadow banned issue with Instagram, so I'm kind of stepping back from there, and more focusing on this, and this page, and then focusing on my YouTube, and my podcast. So, but, yes, And there will be very soon, I'm probably going to do it, it's 11/11. I'm probably going to do it in February. I'm going to try to do a, not necessarily like a love candle, but, it's going to do around love for Valentine's for, February. I will be doing another community candle, so definitely keep an eye on that. But with that, I will be cutting this short. Well, not short. We've been doing it for about an hour. But, I will be cutting this because I have some stuff to do around the house. And then I have to transfer all this and post it and everything like that. But I hope y'all all have a magical, magical Thursday. And I hope y'all all have an amazing Friday. Tomorrow, as everything still stands right now, I will be going live tomorrow morning at the same time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. On here. If that changes at any point in time, I will let y'all know. But yes, for everyone who's interested in the group, DM me, and also DM me, please. But yes, with that being stated, I will let this, I will close. So, I hope y'all all have a magical morning, noon, and night. I don't know your life. I don't know if you're going to work, coming home, or what. But I hope you, no, wait. I almost messed up. After I read this card, luckily I put it right there so I saw it. After I read this card, I will be closing up. But the card of the day and the 7th card in the deck is the Thunderbird Clan. It is imminent change, life force, and rebuilding. Ooh, that's going to be fun. Okay. The Thunderbird clan can represent energy at the highest level, like the thunder rumbling across the sky, and the energy of the Thunderbird makes its presence known. Be prepared for situations to move very quickly and to become intense. This life force energy is the spark of the universe and the surge of power that can ultimately create or destroy. Thunderbird is like the earth shaking, the phoenix rising from the ashes, and the tower crumbling down. The element of fire is in the Thunderbird's change, the burning of the old to make room for new growth. The Thunderbird signals an abundant flow of energy that brings you into a new cycle. Be careful not to block or resist the necessary changes. Let the energy flow to ultimately create a better life that is more in tune with your spiritual gifts and your purpose. Thunderbird leads the way to finding that purpose if we resonate. However, the false ideas we have built will come crashing down. And this is the affirmation for that. Great Spirit, help me to embrace the changes that are necessary for me to live out my truth. I honor the incredible power of the Thunderbird energy. I will use this energy wisely to create a better life for myself and a better world for all of my relations. That is awesome, and it is literally, the Thunderbird is literally what Fire Lotus and this page and everything else is about. Is helping everybody and creating that amazing world and that amazing community. So, very wise words. Also, it could indicate, like I just stated, that buckle up. 2020 is going to be a very intense Phoenix year of rebuilding and life forces and change and so many new beginnings. But, like I said, with that, thank you again so much for everybody who joined me, and the people that I had asked, DM me please so we can talk. But until then, again, I hope you all have a magical morning, noon, and night. I don't know your life, but I hope you all have a magical, blessed Thursday, and I hope you all have an amazing start to Friday tomorrow. So until then, peace.